Darlington Raceway in South Carolina for the Transouth Financial 500. There is first Dale Earnhardt and second Mark Martin. Third is Jeff Bodine. Fourth is Jeff Gordon, and fifth is Rusty Wallace. Good battle up front here as Martin has closed in on Earnhardt. Here's a good battle between Hut Strickland in 27 and Alan Kowicki in number 7. That would be for the 12th position.
Hut Strickland has been running higher than most everyone around the racetrack. Up in 1 and 2, 3 and 4 there, back to the lead. Earnhardt and Mark Martin. And we can see on the 3 on the side of the Goodwrench Chevrolet where he and Jeff Bodine made some contact at this very spot just a few laps ago.
Mark Martin has not won on this racetrack, but he has finished in the top 5 in the last 4 Transouth Financial 500s. As a matter of fact, Earnhardt was the only starter in the top 10 who had won at this racetrack.
And Mark trying to get alongside Earnhardt down the front straightaway as we look from the blimp.
Well, Earnhardt has already started using the high line around there, so that leaves Martin some room down on the inside, Benny, but he can't get the traction off of turn 2 to make the run.
Harry Gant is coming in, apparently black flag.
Yeah, he was given the black flag. Bob, I think he might have an oil leak or something. They're going under the hood of the Skull Bandit Chevrolet. How about it, Jerry?
You're exactly right, and that's exactly what happened. The car began to smoke about 5 laps ago, and Gant complained the car was getting loose. They may have an oil leak as we have a lead change up front, actually a side-by-side battle up there. As Earnhardt holds off Mark Martin in a good battle up front, while we're watching Harry Gant in the pit with the hood up, and they are beneath the hood. Apparently an oil leak, a black flag Gant to bring him down pit road, but still a great battle back up front.
Tough luck for Harry Gant as he sits on pit road and watches everybody else battle for position on the track. Earnhardt with now about a 2-car length advantage on Mark Martin, but Martin closes up once again down the front stretch.
I tell you what, these guys are racing, Ned. Man,
yes, they are. Very, very racy. Here goes Martin again on the inside of Earnhardt. He might. No, he can't do it. The Ford just wouldn't get traction as they come off of that turn, folks. That's a sharp turn coming off of there, and when they turn that steering wheel to the left, trying to accelerate at the same time, it'll break the back end loose and it'll spin out from under you, as Benny Parsons well knows.
Yeah, you saw a picture of that in 1984.
I didn't think we'd ever see that again. I thought you had erased that from all archives.
We shouldn't do him that way every time we come to Darlington.
Hey, that's embedded in the back of my brain. It'll always be there. Once again, Martin's trying it again. But as Ned said, he just can't get that traction on the low side of the racetrack that he needs.
You see the wheel mark on the black 3. That's caused by Jeff Bodine's encounter with him earlier. There is Bodine. He continues to run in third. And fourth position now is Jeff Gordon, who is doing a great job in his rookie Winston Cup start here at Darlington. Jerry?
And Bob, just a few laps ago, Jeff Gordon got an official introduction to Darlington Raceway. Coming off turn 4, he smacked the wall with the right side of the car. I spoke with Ray Abraham a minute ago. Ray said, well, the car's a little bit tight, so it's hard to turn. A number of drivers complaining of tight race cars being hard to turn. But Gordon now officially has his first Darlington strike.
And we're watching Rusty Wallace as he fights the wheel on the Miller Pontiac through these turns at Darlington. Coming up on him, not too far behind, he's about 15 or 20 car lengths, is Kyle Petty. Kyle Petty is one of the fastest cars on the track. He is definitely moving up through there. There we see him as he comes off the turn 4, sort of running by himself right now, but he has passed a lot of good race cars to get up here in 6th position.
Boy, Rusty really saw the wheel there in the second corner a couple of laps ago. It looked like he almost lost it.
Well, that's just shows you how much the back end will break loose coming off of that turn, and that's what he's having to do, is saw that wheel to try to keep the back end behind it.
And there's the Ernie Irvin Kodak Film Chevrolet, the one I called the Bojangles Ford a moment ago. They're both yellow, or close to yellow. And the Daytona 500 winner, Dale Jarrett. Ned, did you settle back down after that Daytona 500 win yet?
Well, I tell you, when you come to some of these other tracks, you get your feet on the ground pretty quickly.
The guy that started 18th is now up to 9th position. That is the number 8 car of Sterling Marlin, who was the pole sitter here last year. A bit for the lead again by Mark Martin. I believe he's going to get him this time.
I don't know.
Oh, no.
I don't know. I mean, Earnhardt is just determined, I will not be passed. There they come up on James Hilton, and they go by. Harry Gant back on the racetrack, lost several laps while they were checking for the oil leak.
There you see Harry Gant by the way, who did come back out onto the racetrack. Our first Autoline field summary. Watch for these every 10 minutes or so to give you an indication of where your favorite driver is running.
Earnhardt lost the back end just a little bit off that second corner. Yet it looks like that second corner is treacherous today. All the guys get a little loose.
Yes, it does look like it's going to be a tough turn. And as these tires get worn, this track is a little abrasive now. It's been a while since it's been paved, and it does wear the good part off the tires pretty quickly. And as that happens and the tires get slip, I expect we'll see more slipping and sliding off that turn.
We saw tire wear yesterday during the Busch Grand National race. John, what's the story in the early laps of this event?
Well, Bob, what we're looking at, the tires are really falling off even after 5 laps, 10 laps. You're going to lose a second, maybe even more, as they continue to run green flag laps. Now, we did a little bit of a survey on pit road. Some of the teams said on fuel, they could go as far as 68 laps, but tires giving up so much, we'll see people probably start to pitting between laps 45 and 55. We'll have to wait and see what happens with Dale Earnhardt, the leader. When he pits, we'll see just about everybody else come down pit road. And now to the front stretch pits to Jerry Punch.
Well, while you're watching that fierce battle up front between Mark Martin and Dale Earnhardt, we'll tell you that a 4-time winner here at Darlington, Harry Gant, is going to have to call it a day. Gant went back off of pit road. The car began to vibrate, and suddenly the engine let go. They're going to go back to the garage area, but it has been a short afternoon for the Taylorsville, North Carolina driver, as Earnhardt still leads Martin by half a car length. Up.
And they continue to battle nose to tail and side by side as the last lap was turned at 148.86 miles an hour. Martin, however, has been unable to wrestle that lead away from Earnhardt.
148 miles per hour. If Dale Earnhardt had been able to qualify, his speed would have been around 162, 163 miles per hour. So we can see that they've lost 14, 15 miles per hour of speed in just 26, 25 laps of the race.
Group of cars running together, led by Morgan Shepherd down the backstretch. Also included is Hut Strickland. That is Terry Labonte also in line. And we're looking back on Hut's car from Morgan Shepherd as Labonte goes to the inside here on the main straightaway.
Has position on Hut Strickland. Let's see, is Hut going to back off? No, they race down in the corner. Ned, they're racing in these corners more than I've ever seen at this race.
They really are, right side by side through these turns. But still, those cars on the inside, we saw Terry Labonte having trouble getting traction down on the low group.
This race is 367 laps. We've completed 28. Here are the top 10. We'll be back with more of our live coverage after this. Transouth Financial 500 underway here at Darlington. Fifth stop on the NASCAR Winston Cup Tour for 1993. Next Saturday, we'll be at Bristol International Raceway in Tennessee for the Busch Grand National race, the Budweiser 250. That's at 2 o'clock next Saturday afternoon. And then the next day, more Winston Cup coverage. This time it's the Food City 500 at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, where Alan Kowicki is the defending champion. Well, we sure are getting some beautiful shots from overhead Darlington, brought to you by the Family Channel Blimp. Currently on a 93 Goodwill Tour, making a number of appearances at major sporting events, concerts, and fairs across the country. It's still the same on the racetrack. It is Dale Earnhardt leading Mark Martin, with Mark knocking on the door.
We've seen this picture of, what, 15, 20 times already. Mark Martin trying to get alongside. Dale Earnhardt can't do it.
And the 4-car slows, and Dale Jarrett goes around.
I think Ernie is having a chassis problem, and his tires might be going away a little bit, because he was about 2.5 seconds ahead of Jarrett in the last 5 laps. Jarrett has run him down and now has passed him. So Ernie ran strong in the early part of the race in the Kodak Film Chevrolet, but now has dropped back to the
8th position. Dale is in 7th. Yeah.
And there we see the 8-car Sterling Marlin, Rebestis Ford in 9th.
A little further up the racetrack, Jeff Bodine has 3rd spot, and Jeff Gordon has 4th.
And they've been racing for about 8 or 10 laps now, Bob. And one time, Jeff Gordon got up beside of Jeff Bodine, but just could not make the pass.
Now there's the Bojangles Ford.
Yeah, there he is.
There's Jerry Cope. Jeff Bodine, Jeff Gordon go by him. I tell you what, Ned, Jeff Gordon is looking just as well here in Darlington as he has all the rest of the racetrack.
He has looked exceptionally well. He has driven the car well.